Heather here from Thrift to Flip. Today I'm going to dive in and talk to you about 5 mistakes that Poshmark sellers make and how to avoid them. I have had to learn kind of trial by fire style when it comes to selling online, and I have learned the hard way through so much stuff that I'd like to help you avoid having to go through learning the hard way on some of this stuff if I can help. Let's get into the 5 mistakes that I feel like I see from a lot of online sellers, but specifically Poshmark sellers and their closets too. The first mistake I want to talk to you about is pricing. I feel like people really do themselves a severe disservice by underpricing their items, but I've also seen a lot of people on Poshmark overpricing their items too. And I feel like a lot of people depend on comp. They really want to go, everyone says, oh, check comps, check comps. The thing is, comps are one part of the equation, but it's not the whole equation. Because the thing is you never know why somebody sold it for what they sold it for. So if you see a bunch of things that have sold for $5, and then when I check comps, I always find things that sell for $5 or $6, and then at the other side of the spectrum, I'll see the exact same thing sell for $50 or $55. It's my personal opinion with pricing. If your pictures are good enough, which we'll get into in a few minutes, you really highlight the item. When the buyer comes along and sees that item, thinks, oh my gosh, I want that, they're not going to be thinking about the comps for the most part or looking them up themselves. So what other people have sold it for, it does matter, but it really doesn't matter at the same time, because you just don't know what somebody's going to come along and want to pay for your item that day. I like to just look at what the retail price is and kind of get a feel for what would I pay for this item, what quality is it, and I come up with a price that I think is at the top line of the comp. So if a comp is $25 on an item, I know that that's the final price it sold for, so I'm going to price it higher than that because I want to be able to make offers to likers. I want to be able to give bundle discounts, things like that, and still make a healthy profit. So when you see those comps, think about all of the considerations. What did you pay for the item? What do you hope to make from it profit-wise? Are there a ton of them out there for sale? Or do you have the only one in that size? Is it a desirable style? Is it a desirable color? Is the season on trend? Like, is it the right season? And then make sure that you're not pricing too low. Think about all the work that you put into your items. You have to go source them, then you have to photograph them, then you have to write the listing, do the measurements, all of these things, and then you have to deal with, dealing with OTLs, offers to likers, dealing with bundling, dealing with customer questions and problems. You have to take into account all of these things and then set your price. So for me, I price on the high side, but then there's people who price ridiculously high. For example, I was browsing new closets, as I sometimes do. I still really want to be somebody's first sale for new closets, so I do browse them from time to time on Poshmark. And yesterday I was browsing and I saw someone who had a pair of the Mall Brand Express shorts priced at $50, and they were used. To me, there's giving room for negotiations with a customer, and then there's just kind of being ridiculous. I mean, come on, those shorts probably weren't even $50 new, let alone somebody's gonna pay $50 for your used Express shorts. It's just not gonna happen. And I think people will just kind of give up on you, not even try if you price that ridiculous. So just try to keep it fair, but on the high end of fair, because with Poshmark, they really are like setting the buyer up to expect a discount off of that. So price to be able to give a discount for sure. Number 2 mistake is you don't brand yourself. I'm gonna do a whole other video about this, but I am gonna touch on it here, and that is when you sell on Poshmark. I used to have the same problem when I sold on Etsy, okay? Your shipping label will say Poshmark, they're trying to encourage you to have Poshmark packaging that they're now selling, and people call themselves a Posh Boss and all of these things, which I get. Being a part of the community is important, and that's something that Poshmark really prides itself on. However, this is your business. If you want it to be a business, treat it like a business. If you're selling on Poshmark, you're selling there and their customers are coming to you, or your customers are coming to you from Poshmark, yes. But you are your own business. Okay, so you want to start thinking about how you can brand yourself for success with your packaging materials, with your URL, with your social media accounts, with the way you do your photography, the way you write your listings, the kinds of pieces that you keep in your closet. And think about where you want your customers to go once they buy from you. Okay, and what I mean by that is, I call it the flow, the customer flow. So if a customer comes to you from Poshmark, that's their flow. They start in Poshmark, then they come to your closet, then they make a purchase from you, and then they receive their item. So this is the flow. Once they receive their item, what do you want to have happen to that customer? Do you want to push them to your social media? Do you want to push them to an email list so you're collecting emails, which is a whole other video for sure. But think about that flow and think about how you can brand yourself so that the customer remembers you as an individual and not necessarily on Poshmark. You want them to be able to become your customer, so they're Poshmark's customer to begin with, but you want to make them yours. So how can you do that along the way? I personally have some things that I'm doing, but one thing that I really love that I do is I have my closet branded as Namaste Babe, and I do have my own URL. So when I'm trying to direct a customer to come back and shop again, I can tell them just to go to namastebabe.com. They don't have to go to Poshmark and try to find my username and search me out and potentially like come into trouble trying to find me. It's super easy, namastebabe.com, easy. So try to think about making it as easy as you possibly can on the customer to come back and buy from you again. And also that customer flow, think about the ways that you can make it make yourself stand out along that pathway so that that customer becomes yours and can come back and shop from you again. Number 3 mistake is a serious doozy, okay? This one, I am not messing around, okay? This one drives me insane. Okay, here it is. Pictures. Pictures are all you have to sell online. Okay, if your pictures are shit, people aren't going to buy from you. That's a hard truth. That's something that I had to learn. If your lighting looks like crap, if you use the flash on your camera, if you use your cell phone and you don't edit the pictures so your pictures look yellow or blue or green, if your background is shiny or distracting, I mean, there are a million things that can go wrong with a picture. And I've seen probably most people on Poshmark that I have seen so far have shitty pictures. It is what it is. I'll probably get some hate comments for that. But honestly, if you want to grab someone's attention, you have like a fraction of a second as somebody is scrolling through their feed to say, oh, look at that. It's bright, it's colorful, it catches my eye, it's beautiful. Let me click in and see what that's about. Your pictures need to be on point, okay? I have some videos about my photography and how I do that from my Poshmark closet. So I'll go ahead and link that down below and you can get a feel for kind of how I do my pictures. But seriously, take your pictures serious. I mean, this is like, if you want to have a legitimate business on Poshmark or online at all selling anything, and you want to stand out and you want people to buy from you, you actually want to make sales, your photography needs to be on point. Number 4 is about buying your inventory. So when you go to the store and you're buying, I think a big part of where you can make a mistake or get tripped up isn't necessarily in the process of selling and photography. All of that is super important, yes. But when you're buying your inventory, that is a point where you can fail before you even begin. If you pay too much for something, if you buy things that are completely out of style that nobody's going to want, if you buy too much and you don't get it listed and you tie all of your money up in your death pile, there are a lot of pitfalls when it comes to buying your inventory, so you need to be smart about sourcing. Find places that sell things for as cheap as you can possibly get them. Hit up your thrift stores, discount days, sign up for all of their point programs that they have. Here we have Value Village, which I think is called Savers in other parts of the country. But they have like a point system that once you hit a certain number of points, you get like 20% off. They have color tag days. I live half a mile from the Goodwill outlet, the bins, and they sell stuff by the pound. And I recently discovered that yes, by the pound is cheap enough, like that's already about $1 an item for me. But if I get over 50 pounds, then the price drops by about 30% to $1.05 a pound, I think, from $1.59 a pound. And it saves me a ton of money to where each piece ends up being like 70 cents instead of $1. For me, that's a huge savings if I can manage to find enough stuff. So you want to really scout out your area, see what you can find, study up on some of the trends that are happening, look at the stuff that has sold on Poshmark recently so you can get a feel for what people are into and what people are buying. And keep those things in mind. I actually keep a list in my purse of brands that I'm on the lookout for. I know that how to check if something is Anthropologie because I know Anthropologie, certain brands sell really well. Today, for example, I was out sourcing and I found a Meadow Rue top, which comes from Anthropologie. But I didn't buy it. It was a good price too, but I didn't buy it because I thought the print of it was ugly. I thought the style was outdated. And Meadow Rue stuff, I have a couple of them in my closet already and they haven't sold. So even though it is Anthropologie, I didn't pick it up because of those things. So my point is, you just need to be really careful when you're buying your inventory. And the very last mistake is going to be not having an inventory system. Now, I speak from experience. When I first started my Poshmark closet 3 months ago, I knew that I needed an inventory system like as soon as I started because of my past experience selling online. I knew that shipping was going to be an absolute nightmare and I would lose things and it would be a mess if I didn't do something right away. Now, I am not an organized person by nature. Really am not. Okay, I can't stress that enough. But I went on YouTube and I came across Empty Hanger and I learned all about her inventory system through watching her videos and I started to implement that. And her inventory system for me really, I fell behind. I got resentful of having to do it that way. And I ended up with a giant pile of clothes in the corner of my bedroom. And it has made shipping things out like horrible. Trying to find things, it's awful. So 2 weeks ago, I came across Nicole State, a video of hers where she talked about how she organizes her inventory and she uses IKEA bags and it's this whole thing. It's really amazing and I started implementing that 2 weeks ago and it's been like life-changing or business-changing for me. It makes listing easier, it makes shipping easier, and it's incredible. So thank you to Nicole State for making that video, first of all. And second of all, finding an inventory system that works for you is going to make your business function so much better. Now, there's no one right or wrong answer when it comes to how you handle your inventory for your business. The most important thing is just to have a system that allows you to move the inventory quickly, to know when something is really old and to know, where something is when it comes time to ship. So for me, that is the fifth mistake, not having a good and functional inventory system. Now that I've made it through all of those 5 mistakes and told you a little bit about how to avoid them, hopefully you can take your Poshmark closet to the next level. If you want to check out my closet, you can at namasbabe.com. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Bye.